morning, guys. So today I'm going to talk about what it is you have to do today. So a couple things. One is the bell ringer. So you do have a bell ringer, and for the bell ringer, if you want to just show me a picture and then help describe it via the picture, you're more than welcome to do that. That might actually help you because the question is, give me an example of shape and unity describing it. If you want to give me a picture and then describe the picture and how it relates to shape and unity, go for it. Have no issues with that. The next thing we're going to also talk about is that free 100 video. So I have mine on there, and I'm going to show you. So video. So I actually have a Movie Maker app on my computer, and it's actually the 2012 Movie Maker app. So if you're having issues with your video, you don't know how to do it, maybe you're doing it on the computer, this is one option you can do. The 2012 is a free downloadable version. Just be careful which sites you go on to download it, because some sites might create a virus. But this is the video I use for almost everything. It's a simple 2012 video Movie Maker. The reason for that is because it's that simple. That's why I use it. The other option for that is if you're struggling with it, you can just do the clips and then submit the clips. Okay, you don't have to necessarily smash them all into one thing. You can also use a app on your phone. That is another option. So with this one, really truly the sky is the limit. And then I have my video as an example. And as you can see, like, I do this stuff. I didn't show me doing any of this stuff just because you guys already know I do it. But when it comes to my day, I stagger out my day in such a way that I'm doing this. And then basically once I get bored with it, I'm doing something else. And then once I get bored with it, I'm doing something else. Okay, guys? That's how I stagger it out. If you don't have that same opportunity, then maybe doing your work all at once is an option. But if you're getting to the point where you're kind of feeling like you're crashing with this stuff, just take a break, come back to it, take a break, come back to it. I mean, you would be taking a break every hour and a half during a block at school by walking somewhere for 5 minutes. So set a timer, go for a walk, whatever have you, and then come back. All right. So kind of divvy out your day to make it a little easier. If you're a night owl, do it at night. Okay. I don't care when you do my assignments or when you submit my assignments. As long as they're by the general due date, then you're fine. Which brings me to the 6.1 assignment. So the 6.1 assignment, I know I had specified due dates, and I know some of you guys were having issues with that. Please try to get them in, by this week. On Friday, I will be grading those assignments. I am warning you right now. They did not go into the third marking period, okay? If you're concerned about your third marking period grade, look back to your 5 weeks, and it's pretty close to that unless you turn things in before we left school. If you turn things in before we left school, yeah, fine. So don't worry about that. The new 6.2 assignment is what I'm going to be talking about today. That's the new assignment. This one is going to be due the 13th, the entire thing. It really shouldn't take you that long. I'm actually going to show you 2 ways on how to do that. And we're going to start with way 1 after I describe kind of what you're doing. So under classwork, the free 100, I didn't put in a specified like subtitle. I just left it up there. I'm going to probably just leave it up there. So keep in mind you have that to do right there. It will replace whatever grade you have previous that you bombed on. Maybe for the alternative assignment down here, all of these. So remember, I divided this one up. Okay, so all right, so for the alternative assignment down here, I did divide it into 4 different sections within the thing. So I have first the matrix down here, then the flashcards, then the poster, and then the conclusion questions. I'm going to do the same exact thing for the alternative assignment 6.2. Now, for this one, there's really only going to be 2 boxes in this one, so keep that one in mind. But that's how those are going to be. Now, for the alternative assignment, the first one, the 6.1, your video can replace one of these that you probably were struggling with or you had issues with. So keep that in mind. So if you like completely bombed one of these, I wouldn't take it too personal. But for instance, if you just could not for some reason get the poster to work for you, it could replace the poster grade. Even though that one's kind of easy because you've all used Lucidpress in my class already. So why you would bomb that one, I don't know. But maybe it was the flashcards, whatever have you. Okay, guys, that's what that free 100 is meant for, okay? For whatever one you're struggling with over here or in this new assignment. But keep in mind, each one of these is going to be a grade. So each one of these sections is going to be a grade. All right. So if you did not do any of them, I would go back through and do something, because honestly, once you've watched the one video that is that hour long, so it's my hour long video. So if we go to stream real quick. So right here. So if you go to this very long video where I actually used the video game as the example, this right here will help you out. All right, especially with the matrix. And once you do the matrix, you literally are copying and pasting for the rest of it. So keep that in mind, that it's once you do the matrix, it's copy and paste for the rest of it. You're doing the same exact thing. With that said, this assignment, it's different, but it's also not so different from the elements in design principles that we've already talked about. It's a little different, but not completely different. So the reason we're doing this is because of an assignment that is going to happen later. Okay, so keep that in mind. So you really want to get this one kind of perfect almost. I'm not going to say perfect, but you want to really think about this one because you might be using it later on, one of those things that you pick later on for another assignment. So keep that in mind. So the first thing I want you guys to look at is the DDP April 2020 outline. So you want to look at the outline first. So the outline here, you have first read the packet. But obviously you got to read the outline first to know that you got to first read the packet. So then you're going to review the attached elements and principles of design. So there is a sheet that I have here that kind of takes the elements and principles of designs and breaks them into their respectable categories on one sheet of paper. So that's going to help you with this project. Third, you're going to follow the procedure and directions in the packet and an analysis of 3 projects. So you're going to do a visual, and I want, emphasize that, is a visual analysis of 3 products. You're not just doing one. You're doing a visual analysis, okay, so you're not tearing anything apart, of 3 products. Okay. Now, this is where I said this can be done one of 2 ways. All right, and I'm going to show you each way. So you're going to you want to choose 3 relatively simple machines, non-electrical, to reverse engineer, such as like a garden hose. You'll use your smartphone camera to aid you in your visual analysis of the project. Finally, you will describe the object using the language of visual design principles and elements. And then fourth, answer the 6 conclusion questions on page 3 of the packet. using the complete sentences. All right. So if I go to now the visual analysis, gives me an introduction. So the introduction is basically saying what captures your attention. Why does something stand out to you? Okay, that's what I'm asking you. What stands out to you? What captures your attention? What makes you go, oh, that's pretty, or oh, that's cool, or whatever have you. All right, I don't care whatever it is, non-electrical. Okay, and you kind of want it to have at least 3 parts to it. All right, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to kind of help you with that as we go here. So I would pick something that has at least 3 working parts if possible. 4, 5 tops, but you want to keep it, you want a couple different pieces together for this. So in this activity, you will choose 3 relatively simple mechanical, non-electrical products to reverse engineer, such as a hose nozzle. You will use your smartphone camera to aid you in your visual analysis of the object. Finally, you will describe the object using the language of visual design principles and elements. All right, so I'm going to go back here. So the elements and principles is right here. All right, and this is the very short page going through them. I'm going to see if I can. There we go. So I made the page a little bigger, but it talks about line, talks about shape, form, color, texture, space, value, excuse me, pattern, contrast, emphasis, balance, proportional, harmony. Wanted to say Hermione there for a second. Wow, I need to wake up. Rhyme and movement. So it talks about a couple different things. Now, each one, this side right here is elements, this side right here is principles. Now remember the matrix, they do coincide with each other. They kind of go smack dab and hit each other. So I'm going to unminimize that. The other thing that you have here is orthographic paper. Now, if you want to print this out, go for it. Okay. If you happen to have the hard copy, use it. Go for it. This is where I'm saying you might have, you can do this again one of 2 ways. So this, you can do this one of 2 ways. You can either A, print this sheet out, use the physical copy that you have. If you don't have it, please, email me. I actually want to quickly touch on that. Please email me if you're having issues, because for some reason the private comments or just comments you guys are submitting in Google Classroom, we were told by the school that we had to turn off, because of just so many people using the servers, we had to turn off the thing that allowed us to see the comments. So unfortunately, I had to turn that off. Oh my God, why am I yawning so much? All right, so I would definitely not comment so much because I'm probably not going to see it. Please email me directly, especially if you have questions or concerns. I can't stress that enough. All right, so again, there's another way we can go about doing this, so I'm going to go back here for a second. Now, one of the ways we can go about doing this part of the project is we can do a digital version of this. Now, the digital version requires you to still have a smartphone so you can take pictures of said object, because there's a part in here in this procedure that you have to do that requires that. All right. So if you have to do it with if you're doing a digital version, make sure you have something you can take pictures with. If you're doing a physical version, you don't necessarily. And I'm going to show you both ways how to do that. So on one of the attached orthographic sheets, you're going to identify the product of your study. For example, a hose nozzle. All right, give me a second. I'm going to find something I can use as my example. All right, so once you've selected your product and you've taken pictures of it with your camera, which I've just done, you're going to print out the images or sketch them and neatly secure them to an engineering notebook. In this case, since we don't really necessarily have an engineering notebook, we're just using orthographic paper or this other alternative I'm going to show you. We're going to kind of start with that. So, but the first thing you have to do is on the sheet of whatever you're doing, you're going to write what it is. I'm going to use Google Slides. The reason I'm going to use Google Slides is because I can create my 3 things on here, no problem. All right. If you're one of those people who you'd rather be doing something physical, again, I'm going to show you that option as well. But this is a digital option if you're kind of struggling with the other stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my title. I'm just going to use this. And I, again, am using a travel mug. So I'm going to say travel mug. And with this, we're going to try to make things kind of small because you got to remember what you're actually doing is you're creating a sheet that's going to ultimately have a bunch of stuff on it. So keep that in mind. Like think of it as like a poster almost. You're going to make a poster board out of this eventually. So it's got to be relatively big, but it doesn't have to be like excessively big either. So, and I'm using just the blank white screen for right now, and I really want to keep it all the way up top. There we go. All right, so travel mug. That's what I'm using. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my pictures on here. So I'm going to go to insert, image, and I'm going to upload it from my computer. All right, so I got the images right there. I want to upload this one. I think it's only going to let me upload one at a time. Probably. So I got one. Now, with my travel mug, it doesn't really look different from the different sides, but I still took pictures of the different sides. And I'm just going to move these after I'm done. So just like if we were to do a multi-view picture, guys, that's basically what I'm doing, is we're going to actually put an image for these. Now, this travel mug I have does have like an inside section to it as well. So I might put that on here. I don't know. I think I'm just going to focus on the outside portion of this travel mug because I can talk a lot about it. So I'm going to re-image some of my pictures so they're a little smaller. This is the front. This is the top. Again, I'm going to resize everything so it looks a little better. Also, so it takes up less space. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put this in the top corner here. Like that. Put this in the bottom corner here like that. And I'm actually going to stick this one over here just so it kind of fits, as it were. I'm going to move my text box out of the way. I'm actually going to, at this point now, create text boxes because that's one of the things in here is it says print out the image or sketch them and neatly screw them to the engineering notebook. I did that. create a caption under each image that identifies the particular object's view. For example, front, top, side, or isometric. I didn't take an isometric picture of this. I didn't see the point in it. Just because it's so similar all the way around. An isometric image just probably would have been overkill. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here where it says text box. I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to create a text box. And I'm simply going to write top view. And I'm going to put this right underneath this image if I can. Probably going to shrink it first. Actually, I'm going to bring this down just a touch so I can grab this and bring this up of it. Oh, didn't want that. Grab the wrong thing. I want this thing. There we go. So top view, dead center. I'm going to do the same thing again. And I'm going to write front view. And again, I'm going to move this one actually up a little bit so I can take this and move it on the bottom. There you go. And actually, kind of changed my mind on this. I'm actually going to put all my images in one spot. So we're going to bring this one back over. Just because how I'm doing this now, I'm going to put side view right there. And c'est la vie. All right. So my OCD is kicking in. It's not even with that other one. Ooh, there we go. All right. Pretty sure that's in the same spot as it was before. Oh well. Anyways, so we have the top view, the front view, and the side view of my said traveling mug. Okay, so that's right there. The steps A through D. Okay. So next to each image, write a description of the visual design principles and elements that are evident from that particular view. Okay. So I guess I can't keep them next to each other. So I'm going to do what I was doing before. Now, if you hit Control, it actually creates like this thing where you can actually move both objects. Just so you're aware. It's kind of a fun thing to use. There we go. All right. So I'm going to actually use this text box here since it's already here to my advantage. And whoa. Oh, it's because I did that. Since the text box is already here, I'm going to talk about the visual principles of the top, the front, and the side. So I always feel like it's easier to talk about something's visual principles when we first talk about the frontal view. So I'm actually going to do that first. So I'm going to make my box right here. All right. So write a description of the visual design principles and elements that are evident from that particular view. Refer back to activity 6.1, visual design principles, elements, identification, material. They give you a kind of an example right here on what you are doing. All right. And notice too, like if we go down here to this part right here, it's saying the signature date, you know, all that stuff. So I do want to quickly take a moment, put a text box right here, and I want to put the date, and that is 4-6-2020. And I'm going to put my name up here. Okay, and it's just got to be somewheres on here to show that you did it the date you did it, so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm just going to put that on the top corner. All right, so now we're going to talk about the elements and principles of design for this mug. Now, this mug has a couple things, elements and principles of design wise going for it. So we're going to come over here for a second and we're going to pick a few of those things that we see from the frontal view here. Now, the first thing we see in this case is line. We also see, and I'm talking more of the curvature of the object itself in this way, talking about line, just from the image standpoint. Shape, form, color. So just from that front image here, we kind of have those 4 things going on. I'm probably going to first start with color and form. And let's see, is there any principles that I can think of? I'm going to say balance in this case. So we're going to talk about form, color, and balance for the front part of this image. All right. And I'm going to change the font size just to 14. So it's not huge. So I'm going to say the frontal view of this object shows asymmetrical. Asymmetrical. I feel like I spelled that wrong. Yes, I did. Asymmetrical balance due to the fact that the logo is only represented on one side of the mug. So looking down here, again, that logo, it's only on one side. You can get these like, you can get like words or whatever put on these. I didn't get it for this one, but that's something else too, that if it was on there, oh my god, why am I so tired? It would show asymmetrical balance. Now, that's just because of the visual thing on the mug. The other thing is the elements of the mug are represented in the form of color. All right, so this is, you can't really see it on here, but it's a kind of like a lilac purple. The mug is lilac purple, which if we look at color, it refers to the wavelength of light, refers to the hue, saturation, pigment, temperature, warm, cool, so on and so on. So we can get really in depth here. Purple is considered a neutral, forgot my E, neutral color. Its lighter appearance on the mug creates the illusion of a more spring-like feel. And that is completely opinionated, and I'll say that right now. That's completely opinionated right there. So I have so far, here I'm gonna, so that you guys can see it. I have 1, 2, and now I need one more. I want to put one more thing in here to talk about the front view of this mug. And I'm going to talk about the shape / form. And the reason I'm going to say shape / form is because the shape in a 2D perspective and the form in a 3D perspective are kind of coincide here, I feel like, anyways. Again, this is opinionated, but so I'm going to put the shape / form of the mug is very organic in nature. It fits very well in one's hand. Is that the wrong one? Ah, I see. Okay. The mugs, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's very organic in nature. There's really no other way to say it because of the curved lines and stuff. I'm just going to put that in parentheses because of curved lines. And I'm going to put a slash and put hourglass shape. Oh, is hourglass one word? I guess so. There we go. All right. So right there, I got 3 different things that I have for the elements and principles of design just for the front view. Now I'm going to do that for each one of my views here that I have. I'm going to try to fit it all on this one thing. Now again, I can actually make this, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, the writing. I'm actually going to go as small as oops, did I do it? Yeah, small as a 12, just so I can go like that. There we go. All right, so I have that one. Now, if I wanted to, guys, I can totally create a border around this. So we can do borders, and we're just going to do 1. So it can show that I'm talking about that one. And then I'm going to create a text box for up here. And I'm going to start talking now about the top view. So the top view, right off the bat, I'm going to say contrast. So there is contrast in the top view of the mug because the white, what would I call that? Opener? White, it's more like a button. White button stands out compared to the black mouthpiece. There we go. All right. So right there I have contrast. That one is super easy. I'm going to use the fact that there's again balance here. Balance in the mug is present due to the fact that the button and mouth, again that's one word, piece, is symmetrical to the rest of the top. I always forget that extra M in symmetrical and asymmetrical. All right, so I don't know if you noticed, but like you have this round curve here, then you have the button and the mouthpiece. If I was to fold that in half, okay, so I would take this picture, fold it in half, it would be completely symmetrical on both sides. Therefore, it is balanced. Okay, that's why I said what I did. All right, so that's one thing about the top. So I don't know if you noticed, but basically we're taking what you've basically already done in 6.1. And now what you're doing is you're just kind of taking it and doing it for each side of an object. All right, so you're taking a multi-view of the object and creating this, what would I call it? And you're creating this, my mouth is like so dry. Ugh. Okay. Creating a elements and principles design poster like you kind of did for each piece of the other one, but now it's for specific sides. Oh, that sounded confusing. Let me see if I can say that again. You're doing the same thing as 6.1, but instead of doing it as the object as a whole, we're taking the object and doing it only for the three sides of the object. Some of your wording might be similar, but let's try not to keep it similar. And again, you kind of want 3 bulleted points of different things. So we have contrast and balance for the top. I'm going to say emphasis too. So there is clear emphasis for the button on the top of the mug because of the clear difference in color. Okay. So obviously, you know, you want to touch the top of the, they're trying to make it so that you see the top of that mug image here and you're, you know, you're using that to open and close the top of the mug so you can drink out of it. And we're emphasizing that thing specifically. So I'm going to put a border around this just so we can show the difference. I'm going to grab text box. I'm going to stick it over here. I'm going to change the font to 12 right away. We'll put a border around it. Just going to do a couple things right off the bat. Because this last one, I really want it to stay within a certain parameters. Okay. All right. And let's see, going back over here, what have I not talking about? Oh, texture. So I can definitely say texture for this. So again, we're talking about each individual side. And if you are in the same boat as me where two sides are kind of the same, try to think of 6 different things you could talk about and divide them between those two sides. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the texture. The texture of the mug is very smooth, yet silky feeling due to the suede like feel of the outside of the mug. The texture of the mug is very smooth yet silky feeling due to the suede like feel of the outside of the mug. Yep. So there you go. I described the texture. What else? Let's see. Go back over here. So we can actually talk about value right here. So value of color is represented here because of the light color purple contrasting with the light color gray before we get to the dark black color of the top of the lid. So I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of hard, but you got the purple, the gray, and then right up here is the black top. And let's see, one last thing. And boom. I'll be honest with you, I can't think of anything. Okay. If you honestly can't think of anything, I'm not gonna like force it on you guys. Don't worry. I honestly can't think of anything I haven't already said on this part. So there you go. So that is basically what this is asking you. All right. Obviously, this person just taped their images on there and wrote on there. What I'm having you do digitally is no different whatsoever. Again, I'm going to show you a physical version, but this is just one. So I'm going to call this 6.2 activity. All right. So I have my travel mug here, and then I'm going to go here and I'm going to now do another object. Okay, whatever have you. In the case of my travel mug actually has a basket that can go on the inside of this. I might use that as my next part. Okay. So try to keep something that has a couple different parts to it, but not an excessive amount of parts. And talk about, again, those elements and principles of design that are associated with it. All right, so the next part I'm going to show you is the physical part of this project. So I'm going to show you how to do it this way as well. So I showed you how to do it digital. Now I'm going to show you how to do it physical. So now I'm going to talk to you guys about what to do for if you were to do this as a physical copy here. All right, so I'm still using this mug here, okay? So that's what I'm using. Now, again, you can do this as a physical copy as well as that digital version I showed you. So I'm going to show you the physical version right now. Now, this mug, okay, I'm going to draw it on here, the top view and the side view and the front view. So I'm going to draw those real quick. All right, so now that I've sketched my drawing here, I'm going to actually do exactly what I did on the computer, which is I'm now going to talk about what it is this has kind of in common with the elements and principles of design. So now, one of the things I did forget to do was actually put a title here. So I'm going to do that right now. All right. So I did my 3 drawings. I got my title. I filled out this bottom part right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write, again, those things that I thought elements and principles of design wise kind of fit with this. So I'm going to start with the top and work my way down. So there we go. Now, basically, again, same thing as the digital version. I'm looking for the top view, the front view, the side view, and you can either print out the pictures and put them here or sketch them out yourself, whichever have you. I'm looking for them to be labeled, so top view, front view, side view. I'm looking for your name, the date, at the very least. I'm looking for the actual, what it is. And I'm looking for 3 different things of elements and principles of design for each section. Again, if you have a situation like mine where they're very similar, I understand. I get it, okay? So if you wind up having some overlap here, that's fine. But what I wrote is the same thing as I wrote online. So if you see that section, you'll be able to understand this. But this is the physical copy. You don't necessarily have to do this on this type of paper. If you had a blank sheet, you could do that on there as well. Other than that, if you have any questions, you don't have to color them in either. I just did it so it looked better. Any questions? Feel free to email me. And that's it. See you in the next video. Bye.